Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another episode of Shades of Blue. My name is Carrie. We're here with Thad Bell, Robert Rustert, and hopefully eventually David Greenwald. He's in the Zoom, but he's currently on a phone call. So
Who is he anyway that he's on a phone call? I mean, what?
At 9 p.m.
Exactly.
He's important.
I like this. You took over the role of doing the intro, and Robert took over the role of me interrupting Cody when he did the intro. So I'm just sitting back with a headache and kind of going to let this happen.
Well, we have a media win, and we have, well, at least for one person that isn't here, Robert and Thad did not.
They cheated, by the way.
Get that win. But we'll get back to that in another segment.
Maybe.
And then we have we'll see with this rundown.
It's looking a little scant tonight.
She's throwing shade. I did the rundown in 3 minutes. Like, I know that doesn't take 3 minutes to type, but my brain is slow, and that has 3 segments, so 1 minute per segment.
The first bullet
that
point.
rundown has no shots on goal.
The first bullet point is just how.
Exactly.
And then were they bad?
Did you need to
missed
question...
my segue there, Carrie. Come on.
Did anybody need to question what that meant? How? We all knew, like Sporting won without a goal, without scoring a goal, without getting a shot, without registering a shot on goal, without pretty much even getting out of their own half in the second half, and they won. I think how is just simple enough. How? Question mark. Big question mark.
So my question is this: how many fans were there, maybe because it was Star Wars night, promotion night, and how many of those fans would have walked away if they hadn't been told by anybody, not even knowing what had happened, that we had no shots on goal? They just, they won. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. Would they have known?
I feel like they would have. I feel like to an extent, when you're watching that game, you're like, this is the most boring game if you're a Sporting Kansas City fan, or if you're there just to support KC in general for Star Wars night or whatever. You're looking at the game, you're like, what did I just watch? Like, is it always like this?
Or you're more concerned about the Star Wars stuff, which, hey, that was all right.
I don't know how many people go to that just for the Star Wars stuff, though, honestly. Like, I mean, maybe it gets a few extra fans here and there, some, you bring the kids or something, but I don't know. How many people go to Star Wars night just for Star Wars and not for the sport that would be at?
Well, maybe I'm speaking because my employer gave away a fair amount of tickets to this game. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, all right, so that was a lot of us missed a good chunk of the first half and a little bit of the second half because of the media game, which was tragic in its own self. However, I shot the fewest amounts of photos at a game that I cared about since I can't remember when. And I mentioned that in the post game, and the PR guy goes, "Yeah, us too."
Did you get a good picture of the Galaxy center back that scored the own goal, though? Did you get him?
Yeah, well, I got a shot of him, yeah, but because when again, photographer problems when a cross goes in, sometimes you're not fast enough to see everything that happened. So I see cross go in, I'm like, was that an own goal? But Shallowy runs off to celebrate, so I follow him to celebrate. So
Right, yeah.
I should have focused in on the poor little schmuck that scored.
The cauldron was weird during that. It was like, oh, that's in. Like it yes, we celebrated, but it was also like what happens? And like because it's just so far away for us. And then of course whenever they switched sides in halftime, we never saw them on our side of the field. We had one
Yeah.
corner kick, and that was the entire corner kick for the Sporting Kansas City.
It was bad in that regard. I mean, I was joking. Like I took more shots in warmups than I did in the second half of the game because I moved to the cauldron end thinking I'm going to get at least a little bit of attacking shots. Nothing.
But did you get Padme while you were there?
Actually, well, I got a shot of Padme from the other end.
Oh,
So,
okay. Nice, nice.
and I mean from the other end of the field. I just want to make sure I clarified that.
Oh,
I didn't want
jeez.
that to come out wrong to anybody.
Thad's
Uh,
always sending like the creepiest like zoomed in photos of me from
no.
like across the stadium. Like,
Once
well, apparently there's another one now.
I did take a shot, but I didn't send it. It's not even posted in the gallery or anything. I was going to send it to you when I had time to go back to do something. So Greenwald just came into this and is probably wondering what the hell legal problem did he just walk into?
I'm just wondering if we're already back at it again, or if this is not being recorded yet.
Oh no, Carrie got us in. She
Oh,
did
good.
it.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
then
yes.
then I'm back at it again also.
Carrie
So
was Cody
Carrie,
and did it, and Robert was me and interrupted her. So it was kind of perfect.
Hell yeah.
so Carrie, I like your honesty in your social media posts where you got your outfit from. That was very honest of you. You want to explain?
Yeah, so we by my friends in the Off to See the Wizards, we got reached out to by Andrew Wiebe, and he does his little like match day thing at all of the different MLS places, and we were like, well, do you want to do a video with us afterwards? And so we are doing a fit check. And so basically everyone was like in a line, and they were acting like, or they were just saying like where they got their outfit, and it was like basically all like Star Wars themed. But then it got to me, and I was like, well, I got this jersey at Sporting Kansas City, I got this long sleeve on Amazon, I got these pants at Goodwill and Lawrence.
So I recently learned that we're calling these a fit check. I and there's gonna be a lot of crossover with our listeners on this. Always knew that from Alabama sorority rush talk as just like the outfit of the day. Um, I didn't know that that was called a fit check.
Neither did I. Neither did
I thought it was just Alabama rush talk. Here's where I got my stuff.
I'm glad I can educate you guys every week about one little thing.
I
Yeah, well,
already,
the three of us are very old, and you're very not old.
well, I am very old, but I did actually know the fit check comment,
Cap,
and
cap,
so
cap.
teen daughters around the house. So
There you go.
Guys, that game was so much fun. It was so much fun.
it was
All
the
right,
best
David,
recap
you
ever.
got to
Huh?
explain, man. What was so much
Okay.
fun for you?
Well, look, I was on a phone call, and so I'm hopping in after we're already back at it. But towards the end of the game, I was rooting for us to not shoot the ball. I was like, can we do that? It was almost like the opposite of a no hitter, or I mean, however it would work. But what I didn't want to see was like one shot on goal, and we have a goal, but it's from an own goal. Like I didn't want the meaningless shot just to have one. So when it came at like the 80th minute, I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like bunker ball, just hoof it down the field. It was so much. Can you imagine being Gabriel Peck or Paintsill and then like losing to a team that didn't even shoot.
And getting injured in the process. But
Marco
David,
Royce. Imagine being Marco Royce and coming to the United States and being like, I just lost to a team that couldn't even put a shot on. Not just not a shot on goal. They didn't take a shot.
well, I don't think he cares that much anyway, speaking of Royce. But David, you just didn't want to have to rewrite your recap, was what you were cheering for, right?
My recap. I don't pre-write my recaps. So they are live stream of consciousness. But
Okay.
my recap was excellent. Thank you.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
You're the perfect blend of elegance and style, and your ride should be no different. The 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid meets all your needs, from business to brunch and everywhere in between. With head-turning details like a sleek front end, plus stylish interior, and an available 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and seamless tech integration. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the new 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things. No unwritten rules, and no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free one-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Yeah.
Thad just rolled his eyes so hard.
They probably could have heard that on the pod, but is there any other equivalent in sports to doing something like this? I mean, and in pointy ball, yes, you could have a fumble, touchback, and lose 2-0. NASCAR, you could wreck on the second lap after everybody wrecked on the first lap. Is there any way to do this in any other sport?
I'm guessing in hockey this has happened before, is my guess.
They don't really do own goals though. Like that's not quite the same.
Yeah.
There is a baseball team that lost, like, I think there was a no-hitter. And I'm gonna have to find this stat. It's not gonna make any sense until I do, but I think like there was they like walked a guy and then he scored, and then the other team had a no-hitter. I think they lost like with the pitcher throwing a no-hitter.
I just don't. It was just so unfathomable. Is that a good word? Unimaginable to me that you don't get a shot on. Not even on goal, just a shot anywhere in the damn game. All you have to do is like launch a ball from just past the center circle, and it could be a shot. And they didn't even do that. It's like I saw comments when it's coming out from halftime, and people like, oh, they can't even collect 2 passes together. And I was like, oh yeah, they're not that bad. And shit, they were. It was like pass, other team, pass, other team, pass, other team, pass. It was like, oh, I have plenty of space to just launch the ball up the field to give us a little break. I'll wait till the LA Galaxy defender runs over in front of me before I kick it. It was just, they were going nowhere. And I've not seen them be that bad since, well, one of the media teams.
So, okay, in 1964, Ken Johnson of the Houston Colt 45s, iconic name, threw a 9-inning no-hitter and lost. So I think that's the sporting equivalent.
But they lost.
Right. No, but like that's
the baseball equivalent.
I think that would be the closest thing.
But Sporting won.
Right, but the team that had a no-hitter lost. Like if they
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
basically they walked 4 times.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, look,
That is so
I
confused right
also
now.
don't think the defense looked pretty good, like that good. You know, not only was the midfield and the offense not great, um, I don't think the defense played that well. I think Poolscamp had a great game.
So you don't think allowing one shot on goal, the defense didn't play that well?
I don't because I think they got uh very fortunate and it was a lot of like scramble defense, but not a lot of like well organized defense.
Well, are you referring mostly to the midfield? Because you got to admit, Volater and Miller had pretty strong game as well.
I think they were very fortuitous that the ball fell to their feet a handful of times, like on cutbacks.
They were, if nothing else, uh, fortuitous, but they were also scrambling and they were working their asses off to keep that. Maybe it wasn't pretty because obviously it wasn't. They couldn't get the ball out of their own end. I mean, the center back could get the ball out to the other end if they do it right, but they work their ass off, man, and you got to give them at least that.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, absolutely. And I love Jansen Miller. He's so much fun.
he had 13 clearances, which was 7 using his head. I'm pretty sure that like the other 6, he literally kicked and then fell on the ground because every clearance that he had, he was on the ground afterwards, which I thought was hilarious.
Talked to Robbie after the game, and just like there's a little questions about how they're because they've played together now a couple of games and how that partnership. And he's like, "Oh, we're just a couple of young guys, and so that's really we're just out there working really hard." He goes, "We kind of a lot alike and all that stuff, except for our hairline." So that was Robbie's comment on Jansen.
Well, clearly this is a game that go back 2, 3 games we would have lost, right? So is the difference simply that they were working harder, that they're becoming more used to each other? Or is it just what we hear a lot from Carrie and a lot from the locker room is this team is just locked in to fight for each other?
It's a good question. Were they not before though? What change? I mean, how did you just all of a sudden go from and because again, the defense hasn't been all that good the last 5 games, right? I mean, yes, there was 2 shutouts in there, right? But they haven't been all that awesome. And this game, I'll side for with Mr. Greenwald here for a second that yes, they weren't that great because they could have done something better. But again, they still did get the shutout. They still did get all of that stuff. And was there any? I would love to know the answer. I just don't know that anybody knows this answer. Is did they focus more on the defense and not the offense, or was it they just were bad on offense in midfield this time, or was it LA has 9 of their 11 MLS Cup winning starters back on the field and all of a sudden they were doing pretty good? I don't know the answer. I don't know if anybody does, but I think we'll figure those answers out over the couple of games, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pools Camp, this is probably one of the better games he's had. Um, I think he's getting more comfortable communicating and with his back line. But he was much more aggressive out coming out of the box, claiming balls, cutting off space and angles. I think he had a lot to do with how the defense played. Um, Miller's still a rookie. I think he's got a lot of potential and a lot of talent. Robbie's Robbie. You know, uh, as far as our midfield, I thought was very, very bad, and I think a big part of that was the moment being too big for Bartlett. Um, we just couldn't really command a midfield, and I don't think the LA midfield is that dominant. Like Marco Royce is good. He is a German legend. But
He's a
Edwin
very
Surreal,
past German legend, though.
but like Edwin Surreal is fine. Um, but Diego Fagundes, I mean, like Diego Fagundes should not be bossing a midfield.
I don't really think necessarily any of them should be bossing a midfield, but the overall, all of them together, I don't know. I don't have the answer for it. That's what I'm saying. But going back to Pulscamp for a second, I feel like every other game he has been an improvement. He'll like step forward 2 steps and then maybe back a step and not be as good. and then take two steps forward. He's definitely progressing. He's having those moments though still, but I think he's definitely progressing.
Well, you can knock Diego Fagundez all you want, but he is good at finding pockets of space and knowing when to play balls and when to set back. And then, we got those wingers that you've got in Peck and Paintsill. They just abused our wide backs. I mean, Leibold, unfortunately, had to come in for Ndenbe, and yeah, he had a rough one. And then Brody had to come out too. And, I don't know if Davis did any better, but I mean, the Galaxy are a strong club as far as the way they move the ball. They just haven't been able to finish it off.
Did we get any like injury update for Ndembe? Or was it
Um,
really more of a tactical move still?
no, it was an injury. Carrie said that there was he had a scan. So we were recording this on Tuesday, right? And they'd had a scan on Monday, but he had not received the results of that scan yet, so he didn't know. He said he kind of felt like it wasn't a long-term injury, but I never even found out for sure what the injury was.
Solid.
Guys, did you realize Diego Fagundez has only played for 3 teams? I, for some reason, feel like he's like Kai Kamara and has just played for everyone.
He's been around for what, 25 years?
I mean, so he got signed by the Revs in 2011.
Wow. And he's still going.
He's only 30. I feel like this dude's been in the league like since the beginning. I feel like he played against Alexi Lawless.
I don't think it went quite that far, but yeah, he's been around for a while.
No, but he's that guy. Like if this was college sports, you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy's in his 9th year of playing like college basketball. He's been around forever.
He's like Memo.
And he sucks.
Oh.
He's better than Memo.
Wow. I can't believe you would slander Memo like that after he helped contribute to a shutout. To a clean sheet.
No, I just said that you said he's been around forever, and I
No, I was
said like
talking about
Memo.
Robert. I was talking about Robert. Robert's slandering Memo. Carrie, noted Memo fan.
I said what I said.
Wow.
Not a Memo hater, just I don't think he's that good.
But you said
Fagundez?
Yes, Fagundez has been around forever. That's what Carrie was referring to.
He has.
Thad,
it's a
should
little
we
hard on Zoom whenever we can't, direct our anger towards someone like in person.
We don't have Cody gesturing wildly. Yeah. Have we voted for best newcomer yet?
No,
we have not.
It wasn't that long before you joined that we started talking.
My fault.
We never really get that far along, and I mean, again, a very high quality rundown today.
Yes.
Which I can't edit, by the way.
So David and Carrie saw more of the game than Thad and I did. So should we let them go first?
Sure.
Let me think about this.
For best newcomer?
Right.
No, you know what? I'll for this week, the best newcomer is Jansen Miller, and then Bartlett in third, Dayon in third, Manu in third, and Shoppy in third.
Okay, have any of you gone back and watched the broadcast?
Hell no.
I did not want to torture myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I have a question. This is a very sincere question. So the guy who just finished number 1 in our newcomer rankings, Miller, what is his first name as we have learned it as part of sporting media?
Jansen.
Okay. Thad, you're nodding along. Jansen,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
On the broadcast, they kept calling him Jansen or Janssen Miller. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this dude's from like Indiana and not from like Norway.
He's from St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. Gross.
He went to college, but he grew up in St. Louis, and he hates St. Louis City, so you should like him.
Yeah, sure. But no, they kept calling him like Jansen Miller, and I'm like, he's not Norwegian. What are we doing? I think it was Twellman.
Do you think like they just get confused like with this hairline that he's just older and he has to be some international, I guess.
I think they were doing the same thing that they do whenever there's a game on like like one of the Spanish broadcasting channels when like they put flair on even like normal people, like white people names. And so like, you get like Gutierrez when they like roll the R and then they'll be like Robert Russert. And you're like, what? No, it's just pronounced Russert. You don't need
That
to
was
put
nice,
like
David. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I do speak multiple languages. But yeah, like I felt like they were putting flair on it for just cuz and Jansen Miller does not need the help. It's almost more fun if he's just the guy who eats like the cracker pizza from St. Louis and with the shitty cheese.
Putting unnecessary flair in something is so unlike Taylor Twellman. Yeah.
What are we doing? I'm like shouting that at the television as he keeps calling him Jansen.
Exactly.
I would like so I agree with the everyone should be in third place. However, I have a proposal. All right, we put Shoppy's daughter at second because she was so cute after with all the confetti. Because I think, when they have games that they don't score, they just pile up all the confetti that they have stored up. And she ran over and she was just playing in the confetti. It was so cute as like the cauldron was dancing and singing, which was also felt very off because it was like we did not win that game. As besides the point.
How tall is Shoppy's daughter? I mean, can she be that much shorter?
With or without the hunch?
I don't know that she has a hunch. Or are you talking about him? Sorry. Good.
I have such a hard time picturing Shoppy having like any sort of romantic relationship with anybody. I feel like he's just like a footballing machine and then just goes home and
Did you not see the behind the shield talking about family? Come on, David, have a heart.
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I'm a very busy man.
Just a personal anecdote from the confetti that came out. I was on the Calder Noon, like I said, shooting. Really not shooting, not doing much, but I was kind of doing a little bit. And then all of a sudden, the confetti cannons go off above me, and I just see something come flying down and flop in front of me in like 10 feet onto the field. And I'm like,
Shoppy's daughter.
And I'm like, did they just kill a bird?
Carrie, stay off the field.
Like, I'm like, did they just kill a bird? And I looked out there, and it was just a big clump pile of the confetti that just didn't separate. And I'm like, that kind of just felt like this whole game. Yay, we celebrate, but it was just a clump at the same time. It was a clot of confetti.
So okay. Well, I would like to go out of order about something. This is killing me. I have to bring this up. So I obviously watched the whole game. I didn't participate in the media game. I wasn't slamming Blues Hell lemonades in the cauldron dressed like a Star Wars character.
Which character would you have been?
Me? I don't know. Like,
and where would you have gotten the clothes from?
How hot was it?
Oh, it was really nice. Well, the tailgate was hot, but afterwards.
Okay,
it was
so then
really
I'm not
nice.
wearing a robe.
It was
if it's
like
hot,
60.
like I'm not trying to melt.
It was like 60, 50-ish at the 55-ish
Okay.
during the game.
Yeah, it was nice.
I don't know.
Come back to it.
Yeah, whatever. Cassian Andor. Can I be Andor? I'm in the middle of watching it. That's kind of the only thing I can think of.
All right,
go shirtless and go like Chewbacca. Anyway, so Thad, Robert, you guys played in the media game. Carrie, did you watch the media game? I have to hear about this.
I did. Yes.
Tell me everything.
I mean,
what happened?
They were like sporting, and they were also on the opposite side of the field, so it was very hard to see still. And then someone was like, the camera person was trying to get me to like stand up the entire time with my little mini lightsaber that they gave out and just hold it there for a photo opportunity that never happened. Just so they could, I don't know, for the sponsor stuff. So they came over to the side one time, and my friends were chanting Daniel Sperry, not any of the other two.
So
I didn't come that close.
Whose team was Sperry on? Was he on your guys' team?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And big fan of Daniel Sperry. Very nice man. Love talking footy with him. Ball hog, noted ball hog. Did Sperry take a lot of shots?
Well, see, the other team had two more players than us, and they were also a lot younger than us. So there's two excuses. But Sperry, actually, I saw one moment where he was not a happy man. He was trying to like take somebody down at midfield. I don't know why, but I'll have to ask him about it.
There was a point where he was battling for the ball with two other people from our team, which we didn't need to have all in one spot since we didn't have as many players. I went wide. I normally play defense. I did make one legit pass, and I went wide trying to create space and just basically not have to run.
Create or take up space, but
create space because I was not taking up space. I did not go into the where everybody else was.
Give me your top 5 newcomers of the media game.
Oh, jeez. Newcomers? Well, the other team didn't have a whole lot to do, David, because nobody on our team played defense hardly. I tried to play midfield and kind of stay in the middle, but I found myself running back to the goal to defend because, again, nobody on our team played defense at all. Every time they got the ball, it was like a 3-on-1 break.
So what was the final score?
3-0.
Who scored the goals?
Well, Cody scored on a rebound. Yeah.
A true poacher's goal.
It was.
He's like the Ginger Wondolowski.
First goal was who, Thad?
Don't give him that.
First name is Robin. I can never remember the last name.
And then we had
nice guy,
Carlos Chica score the third one.
Who?
Carlos Chica from Univision, Arkansas.
Were there any good celebrations? Like, what did Cody do to celebrate?
Nothing memorable.
Oh, well, that's a bummer.
He did tell us, though, where Carrie was in case we scored on our end. So that was very kind of him.
Okay.
Because she had a lightsaber at the ready, Carrie. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's not just one of those mini ones.
Did you guys get any shots off?
I did not.
Did your team get any shots?
Yes.
Did we have one? A pass back to the keeper, Thad, and something else, maybe?
We had shots in the goal because they were just whacking away at it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So more shots than Sporting still.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put in 2 crosses in the box in the mixer, hoping somebody would knock the ball home, but nothing happened. So
were they like hopeful crosses, or were you actually picking somebody out and like aiming?
First one, I was definitely picking someone out. The second one, I was like, we're down 3-0. Just put it in there.
Oh, yeah. True Sporting. It's like Peter Vermees never left.
I got the scoring summary.
Yeah, Robin Davis got the first one.
There you go.
They actually have a recap.
Cody Bradley in the 5th, and then Carlos
Chica.
How do you say that? Chica's in the 10th.
Did who else that's KC Soccer Journal affiliated? Did anybody else play? Did Jimmy play?
Mm-hmm. He was out there.
How'd Jimmy do?
I never saw him.
Yeah,
did you rake the Achilles? Did you stomp on him?
No.
He had some good defense, I think. He was right in front of me.
Guys, I can't believe Chad missed both a media game and Star Wars Day.
Out of town, man.
I don't feel like we rubbed that in enough in our group Slack because, Chad loves both Star Wars and media games.
Yeah, I think he's just so depressed. Oh well. Yeah, we were missing Nate Bucati and who else?
Andrew Weeby.
Yeah, but there was somebody else, wasn't there? Because he wasn't even Weeby wasn't officially listed on the team.
Yeah, he was.
I think he was and was taken off.
Yeah.
Because
That's a bummer.
He couldn't get. He still had to work technically.
And
he was trying to figure out how to get the suit on and then take the suit off and then get it back on just in time.
I heard he had back issues.
Because I asked him beforehand.
But Bucati had flight issues. That's why he couldn't make it.
Yep. Did you guys get kits?
We got the Wizards one, man. We got the best one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What does it say on the back?
Whatever we said it to say.
Life.
Okay, and what did you get it to say, Thad?
Bell.
Okay.
And did Ginger Wondolowski, does his say at that Cody though?
It's almost Mother's Day, and you can now get anything you need delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. So no, you can't order a relaxing shower, but some beautiful flowers, you bet we deliver those. A bird bath? No. A bath bomb? Absolutely. It's no to a chocolate lab, but yes to some chocolate truffles. So whether it's a last-minute gift for Mother's Day, fresh groceries, or food from your favorite restaurants, get it delivered today with Uber Eats. Order now. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Good night, itchy eyes. Good night, sudden sneeze.
Good night to your symptoms of allergies. Xyzal is the allergy medicine you take before bed. It provides powerful relief while you rest your head. Not just all night, but all the next day. Xyzal keeps working, keeping allergies at bay. And without those annoying symptoms disturbing your rest, you can wake up the next morning feeling your absolute best. Remember, be wise all. Take Xyzal. At night.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Walmart Business is in the business of saving you time, money, and hassle. Whether your business started in a garage or is a garage, Walmart Business has the tools to help you get where you're going. Tools like free shipping, multi-user accounts, and just about any item your company needs.
Even a double filtration cyclone dust collector.
Yep, even that.
Sweet.
Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com. Terms apply.
Maybe, probably.
I think it says that, Cody, though.
Yeah.
Next year, we need to get it to say Ginger Wando.
But what number did you get, Robert?
11.
What number did I get? 96.
There you go. Boom.
I've been doing that as the media game number for sporting games for a long time.
Will there ever be a time when you two give up your spot so that Carrie and I can play?
I've said this was my last year. Depends, but I still
He's doing his retirement round.
Yeah.
We give you a tribute game.
Well, David, considering at age 57...
I'll be the ref next year.
At age 57, I'm still one of the only people who actually run up and down the field. So as long as I can keep doing that, I mean, I'm in.
I mean, I can run up and down that field too. I'll vomit a lot afterwards, but I can make at least 2 runs up and down.
It's got to be more than 2, man.
I can and I won't vomit. Let me just say that.
I'll vomit off the pitch, though. I'll make sure to not get it off the pitch.
Get it on the opponent's bench side.
There you go.
If you got to do it, make it strategic.
So, okay, going back to the game, I'm curious what your all's thoughts are on Greg Vanney. Obviously not our coach, but Vanney came, he was such an in demand. It was such a coup for the Galaxy to sign him. He did such a good run at Toronto. And then I feel like, his run with the Galaxy, obviously last year they won MLS Cup and that's huge, but by and large has been really underwhelming. Like, I feel like LA has been bad more than they've been good under him. And I'm curious if you all, one, agree, and two, Robert, like, what would you attribute that to?
Well, I think it's mainly because, the Galaxy fans were rebelling in a major way, demanding that Chris Klein leave his position with the club because they weren't willing to spend the money and build the roster they had in the past, right? And yeah, you're right. They weren't any good until they finally got the right pieces around Ricky Puig, and they just spent way too damn much money to do it. And that was the major problem with this year. Of course, who knew Ricky was going to get an ACL injury, right? Would this be significantly different if he was out there? I think so. But
yes.
Yeah, I don't think it's Vanney's issue. I think it's just the organization has got to support what Vanney wants to do, and they eventually did.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Robert. Is just that a lot of his issues just he's been not had a really good team, so he had to build it. But he's also not been perfect when he has had a decent team. So last year, I don't know. I mean, we might have been able to coach that team to a MLS Cup final with that much talent.
Yeah, but their defense needed to be restructured too, and he put in some trust in some young guys to step in and solidify that back line. So got to give him credit for that.
I think somebody needs to give like you and me a chance to coach a team and see how we do with it. So,
are you proficient in Microsoft Office?
Right.
I used to be. I
I'll start looking in LinkedIn to see if there's any positions opening for you guys.
Hey, David,
maybe
remember, they said if we bring in one good player, they'll hire us as scouts, remember? So you still working on that?
Yes,
Okay.
I
All
have
right.
found many good players. Just, they would cost a lot of money.
they're all employed.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear Trent Alexander-Arnold is making a big move this summer. I'm sure we could upgrade right back.
Do we have to upgrade right back? I mean, we have multiple ones there now, right?
Yes, it's still by far the weakest position on the team.
By committee.
Since we haven't had you very much this summer so far, David, on the pod, right? I mean, you've done a couple, but not as much as what you thought you were going to be able to, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm coaching baseball for 6-year-olds. Um, that's been a big time suck.
Yeah. I'm not saying that like you're like wrong for doing this stuff. It was just a lead into I was going to get your thoughts because we haven't talked to you as much. When they sold Mr. William upon first reference Agata to Salt Lake, they got 500,000 of 2025 GAM. So it has to be used this year.
Mhm.
It seems like that would indicate they do have a move planned for the summer window. Where do they go? What do they get? With 500,000 plus some change. They can scrounge the couches for nothing else.
So it's most needed along the back line, right? Um, the team has to upgrade center back. As much as I like Jansen, um, he needs another pairing. Robbie was perfectly good against LA, but that is an area where they need to upgrade. But there's so much money tied up in the back line already between Joaquin and Danny. I would be surprised if they went back line, if they went center back. Um, with Logan, it depends. I mean, maybe things change depending on how hurt he is. They need to upgrade and get competition for Logan, because I don't think. Who's our other German friend?
Leibold.
Leibold. Thank you. My God, my brain's gone just to mush this late at night. I don't think Leibold's good enough. Obviously, right back needs upgrades. We need a new six. They need to move on from Radoya. The real question is like, when you've got salary tied up and like a lot of money tied up in a certain player, like Radoya or Radia or whatever, can you justify spending a ton more money at that same position? So I'd have to go back and look and see like when all the money's coming off the books for some of these contracts. But we need to upgrade at the six. I like Bartlett. I think Bartlett has potential to be good someday, but this team, everything revolves around how strong we are at the six. The team has been at its best with a dominating six.
I think all that's true, but I don't know that we can do all of that in the summer window. So
So I don't know the answer. I don't know where we go.
So, all right. Just wanted to see if you had the solutions.
I will miss Willie upon first reference. I liked Willie.
And Johnny F.E. Russell.
I'm okay with that one.
Yeah. Well, I was okay with him going. It was just the where.
Salt Lake's not our rival.
Not this again.
They're not. Look. Once Beckerman left, once Benny left, the rivalry lost. And whatever that shit ass was, who was their goalkeeper for a while.
David Ochoa.
Yes. Like, I mean, it's just not like a rival. I mean, we were rivals with Chicago at one point. Do you have any sort of feelings with Chicago anymore? No.
We never were really rivals with Chicago. That's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, we were back in like the 90s.
Right. Well, okay, but we were rivals with them at one point. Now we're not anymore. We were rivals with Salt Lake for a little bit. Now we're not anymore.
We don't even play them hardly ever. We still play Salt Lake twice a year.
Sure. And at neither point do I care more about beating them than I do about beating other teams. Our rivals, the pink, Purina FC, Dog Food FC.
What about Seattle?
What about Seattle?
Are they more of a rival than RSL? I would say yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We haven't had big games against them for a little while either.
Yeah, agreed. But I mean, but it was all based on the rivalry was all based on competition, and as we have become awful, that the competing for those spots has kind of died down. But the Kansas City St. Louis is a true rivalry, right? Like if we had a hockey team, like a professional non-Mavericks, big shout out to the Mavericks, but if we had like an actual NHL team, they would be rivals with the Blues. Just the nature of it.
After the game, the brew house was playing the Blues, whoever they were playing, the NHL game, and when St. Louis got scored on, the F St. Louis chant broke out.
It's incredible, right? That is a true rival. We don't like Salt Lake. It is what it is. Beckerman's gone. Ramondo's gone. Who cares?
I'm in no way trying to say that they are our number one rival, but I would still consider them a rival because we have history. So
more so than Minnesota, that's for sure.
Yeah. The nice rivalry, the fake rivalry in Chicago, that was a bunch of BS. That was just trying to gin stuff up. So
frankly, like I always hated Dallas more because we played them like seemingly every year in the Open Cup, and they as a club have the culture of like, we're going to flop, we're going to waste time from the opening kickoff, we're going to be terrible. Like, I mean, I always hated playing Dallas way more than I hated playing Salt Lake.
For a while, I hated Houston more so, but that was before we played Salt Lake because Houston was always a bunch of wankers and knocked Sporting out of playoffs and things like that.
So you're saying that you can lose rivalries because Houston's not really a rival anymore?
They're still in my list of like I don't like teams.
I mean, I hate everybody that's not us. Like all of them.
I mean, you could argue San Jose was a rival for a while because we had some big games against them and controversial.
Yeah, the only team that's not our rival is San Diego. I mean, like I hate watching everybody play us. I'm rooting for a sinkhole every time like Miami takes the field. I'm so sick of them. Not really a rival though.
No, I don't consider them a rivalry either because they're just in the other conference. We will hardly play them, and when we do, it'll be in some place that they're going to sell extra money to tickets for. But yeah, I mean, if they played St. Louis FC, I would be like, screw, Space Meteor of Death. That's time right there.
Define the difference between a burrito and a taco? That's some deep lore. That's a deep throwback.
We have to go to this again.
Are you asking Carrie or me? Because
I'm asking Carrie because you know what? Carrie wasn't around the last time this came up.
The difference?
Yeah.
One is wrapped and one is open face. One can be considered a hot dog.
A taco cannot be considered a hot dog. A hot dog might be considered a taco.
Okay, apologies, but
semantics.
That's like that's from like 7 years ago.
We used to ask everybody who came on the pod that question.
It wasn't 7 years ago, though.
No, this is like pre-COVID.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
This feels like a COVID type of situation.
No. This I promise you, Robert, go back and look. This is a pre-COVID discussion because this was before I was on the pod regularly.
That was 6 years ago.
See, Cody and I would argue because Cody said the answer was fillings. And I'm like, no, it's not fillings. First, I said size of tortilla and then what you can do with that tortilla. So wrapping or not. It's not the fillings. I can put the same things in a burrito as I put in a taco. I can put the same things in a taco as I put in a burrito. Yeah. So I don't know why we've got off on this sidetrack, and I don't know that we have a whole lot else to talk about at this point.
Well, Thad, have the current been playing like a taco or like a burrito lately?
Like a donut.
Like a donut. There you go.
There's a hole in that defense.
So was
And
it
their
3-0, 3-0 in Seattle? Or what was the score in Seattle? I'm sorry.
1-0.
1-0. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, they've only given up a couple goals.
Yeah.
There used to be a point where I would watch the Current and they would lose every single time. Now I'm at the point where I don't watch the match and they lose. So, because I've not watched the last two matches. Been busy both times. So, I'd like to apologize to all of Kansas City right now.
It has been pointed out that Sporting has won more of the last 3 matches than the Current have.
And with less shots.
Yes. And less goals given up.
Do you think if Temwa Chawinga had played against LA, with the other Sporting players remaining the same, if we had just swapped Chawinga in on the front line, would she have taken a shot?
No. Currently, no. Maybe last season, Temwa, maybe.
Yeah.
This Temwa, no.
She's been much more hesitant the last few games, which is part of their problem. She started off strong. I started to do the track every game or every team that she scores on thing like they did last year, and then she just stopped. And I wonder if she has an injury that we just don't know about. But she seemed slower, more hesitant, and with Michelle Cooper out, Michelle Prince out, I think the big problem is Michelle Cooper being out. Honestly, if she was in there, I think they would have done way better. You have any more questions?
I just realized something that I should have mentioned. We talked about the rivalry versus, Salt Lake and Seattle. Both have won games without shots in playoffs. So, there you go. RSL did it in 2021 against Seattle, and then Seattle won MLS Cup with it in 2016.
Yeah, they did it without shots on goal.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yes.
They took shots. They didn't take shots on goal.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Is that the distinction?
I thought it was also no shots, and I tried to look this up on MLS soccer, and they have the link and everything, but it just says match not found. So they've just completely erased the 2016 MLS Cup.
I think there was 2 teams before that did not take shots, and they both lost. Actually, no. I heard this today. I need to verify this, but I was told today that there's been 3 times when a team did not take any shots, and the teams are actually 1-1 and 1. So 1 loss, 1 tie, and 1 win. So good to be on the 1 winning one.
So I found an article. It looks like. So I found the article about the Seattle RSL game, and it says 0 shots, no shots on goal, no shots blocked. I'm guessing that because it went to PKs,
yes,
that's how they distinguish it.
Yeah, I don't know. This is what I was told. So
all I can say is I remember going to Sounder at Heart, the SB Nation Seattle site that night, and just like feasting on the tears. It was incredible.
More or less than like Johnny or Tamilia taking down Rodon.
I think
that we still have
more Seattle fans on suicide watch for losing with no shots against them, but the people calling for Tim Melia to be like arrested and prosecuted for a felony was really funny.
All right. So should we look at Sporting's coming schedule? Because 5 of the next 6 games are on the road, guys.
That does kind of suck.
In Portland this weekend, and then we go to St. Louis midweek, and then we're in San Diego. That alone is a tough stretch.
It's a lot of travel.
What are we hoping for out of these 3 games? Are we hoping for 4 points? What are we thinking?
Actually, before we go there, I have a question. I don't know. I've always suspected that Peter had made enemies with the refs. Not that they would ever be extremely explicitly biased, but just that could hedge some decisions this way. Did he piss off the schedule makers? Because do we ever get a good schedule when we're going to play on the road at St. Louis? Because Portland, right. St. Louis, San Diego, right? it sucks. And they've almost always had a rest day before we went to play in St. Louis.
You are right.
So, did somebody piss off the schedule makers? And why is that so hard? I think you could be doing a better schedule. Why would you not do? And I know we've talked about this before for like road trips. If you go to Portland, your next game should be in Vancouver or Seattle, so fans can make those trips. If you're going to have a midweek game, have it someplace where fans would want to make a long weekend of it. No, this is stupid. And why would you? I mean, why would you not have St. Louis and Kansas City always be on the weekend? Because it's a good road trip for fans and it's better excitement and all that good stuff. Anyway, now back to your regularly scheduled complaint about the schedule.
No, but that is crazy. You go to the Pacific Northwest, Portland, then you go back to St. Louis, then you got to go all the way to frickin' San Diego. That's ridiculous.
Yes.
At least they can charter the planes now, right?
Yeah. But
they're not flying on Southwest anymore.
In this league, you can.
Touche. Well, so Portland's in third in the West. They've got 18 points, 5-3-3. They're 2-1-2 at home.
And they beat us 4-2 at our place not too long ago.
Yeah, that game sucked. San Diego's in fourth place, 17 points, 5-4-2 overall, 3-1-2 at home. Do they play at a crappy football stadium? They play at Snapdragon?
Yep, they do. Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be what? Fake grass?
Real
I think
grass,
it's real.
probably
Is it real?
flooding.
Yeah.
Probably flooded though.
Yeah.
Oh, goody.
Bear, scrawny, because they have multiple teams play on it. Because
Football
the,
team, San Diego Wave. More than that. think
I
in high
can't believe
school
they're
at one
not playing on
point,
the
that was
field
the old
turf.
one.
Shocking.
They,
And then
they had
go
to
ahead.
move a San Diego Wave game to another city as a home game because they couldn't play at their own place last
And it
year.
was the fan appreciation match too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
So the
that.
fan
Oh,
appreciation
yeah.
match was in like
In
Louisville.
Yeah. And then St. Louis is actually behind Sporting Kansas City in the table.
Because of goal differential? Is that what it is?
No, we're both at -4.
Okay.
It's wins.
Is it wins? Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that's the tiebreaker, first tiebreaker in MLS. They don't do it the way everybody else does. Or a lot
But-
of
Hey,
other
it feels
places.
good, huh, guys?
But here's the thing. Sporting has scored 17 goals. We've conceded 21. Leaky defense. St. Louis has only scored 8 goals. So, we're 5th in goals scored, and we're tied for last in goals against.
But hey, come on. Out of the last 5 matches, our defense actually has 2 shutouts and only allowed 2 at Cincinnati. So I know the other 2 games weren't so pretty, but you got to give them credit for those 3 results.
And one of them was a pretty amazing goal. So
Right. Yeah.
of those
Cincinnati
2
won,
in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Sebastian Berhalter and Vancouver are kind of running away with everything, but there's only 9 points between second and us and St. Louis.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy, isn't it?
What a weird sentence to say. Vancouver's running away with it. Like what
No,
a
Berhalter and Vancouver are running away with it. At the
like
Berhalter.
like what a weird timeline where Vancouver's actually competent.
And Berhalter
still-
can't play in the Champions Cup final either.
Yeah, but I still love that Berhalter is the currently the best of the national team players' kids.
I still think that Vancouver is doing so good because they cut Luis Martins.
Is that what it is?
I dislike that man so much.
What did he ever do to you, or not do to you?
I had to watch him play soccer. That's it.
Oh. Jeez.
He's not the worst offender that's been out there for the last decade.
There's something about him that just irks me. I think he was given the captain's armband one time, and I tweeted, I said, "Take off my city's armband." And my cousin does not watch soccer at all. Just said, "Oh, I can see Sporting Kansas City's playing again." Like, thank you. You know that I'm currently in pain watching that man.
Well, at least your pain has not changed much over the last couple of years.
Fair. It's gotten a little better because he's not on the team.
I never
I'm
was
a
like
hater.
you are. I'm learning more things about you. I never hated him that much. What would be your most hated player that you would have ejected from the team? Be nice, David.
Me?
Well, I'm going to Robert. I'm just giving him time. I mean,
Robert
Yes,
drinks the
give me time.
Haterade. Robert doesn't like Memo.
No, I didn't say I didn't like him. I just don't
by,
think he's very
by the way,
good.
preview, he has a new hairstyle, hair color.
Oh, does he? Okay, nice.
Is he matching Temwa? Did he go teal?
No. Would that be bad when sporting players start wearing teal in their hair?
So I think that would be a nice show of support. Who would I jettison from the team, like that's currently on the roster, or just all time?
Which player you can just possibly like? You have to like be able to just put this out there now. So you have 5.
No, it's easy.
4,
Diego Rubio.
3. Why?
I just never liked him. I felt like he was. And this isn't fair. This is just how I felt at the time. But I felt like he was like a bootleg Dom Dwyer. Like Dwyer came to the club. He was fun. He scored a lot of goals. He took selfies in the crowd and he, whatever. And I acknowledge that the Dwyer we saw is kind of different than the Dwyer who was in the locker room. But Rubio came in and just flopped his ass off. Never really seemed to be that good. Like I always felt like he scored when it didn't matter. And again, this isn't fair. I just didn't like him. I just never enjoyed watching him play, which is not a fair shake because like it's not quite how history actually bears out. But every time he took the field, I wish anybody else was playing.
Robert, who would you do?
Thad, you're having me going against my nature here. I don't hate on people like that.
Cap.
I've been trying to think of somebody and I can't think of anybody.
Cap.
You hated on Memo
Give me a little more
earlier.
time. Give me a little more time and I'll come up with a name.
Well, they were saying you were hating on Memo. I didn't really think you were hating on Memo as much as like,
of course not.
It was more like a ambivalence, I think.
Well, I just
all right. So for me, can I do more than one?
Yes.
We know who you're going to say, but
Unload.
I want to hear the other one.
Oh, okay. Who am I going to say?
Give us your pyramid.
You're going to say Wolf at some point.
Well, he would be in that chain, but probably the player that I hated the most. And I try not to hate the players because again, I know they're trying and all that good stuff. But I used to hate Chris Brown on the Wizards. He scored some goals, but it's like if the ball was low, he dove to head it. If it was up in the air, he tried to like jump to kick it. It was like everything he did was the exact opposite. If he should have passed it, he shot it. If he should have shot it, he passed it. It's kind of like Cody and William Agata. Like Cody thinks Willie did everything wrong. I thought Chris Brown did everything wrong.
Well, I will say that the only player, and Thad, you and I get to know players on kind of a different level in some ways. The only player I really had a disdain for behavior during training was Eddie Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that would be my pick. I thought he was a good player and everything, but just the way he behaved in training at times.
Yeah. This doesn't have to be rational. This doesn't have to be players you don't like.
Yeah.
We're going based off what we saw on the field.
If you're just going off of what you saw on the field, I'd still go with Chris Brown. But
Luis Marine.
Oh, the other Louis Sam.
Josh Gardner.
So you're just picking players that you didn't think were any good.
Brad. Yeah, right. No, oh God, what was his name? The Seattle guy, Brad
Evans.
Davis?
Brad Evans.
Evans, okay.
Who didn't play a single minute. And like I met him at like a fan event and he was just kind of like a dick. Like he didn't seem super enthused to be here. And we paid him a lot of money to never do anything.
And then went back to Seattle, like on free agency or something like that.
He went back there to be like a legend. So like a Matt Beasler back to here. So he's kind of went back for that. I mean, he was a legend there.
But like he retired and like lived in a van for a little bit. Like he wanted to like live in the forest in a van. But he was very like, if I said Chat GPT, make me like a caricature of a smug Seattle, like lifelong Seattle resident, it would be Brad Evans.
Yeah, no. What about Justin Mapp?
No, I'm cool with just a map.
How about Alexi Lawless? I mean, did he really want to be here?
No, he did not. He wanted to be on the coast.
So I'll
Second
throw
best
him into
ginger
the
to ever
mix.
wear the kit
After Cody Bradley?
after Cody Scott Bradley. The
Who's
Ginger
not
Wando.
here. Who was gonna record with us yesterday?
But
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
then,
Carrie, are you making Back at It Again your own, or are you trying to do a Cody version of it?
I was just trying to do a Cody version.
Okay.
I have to channel my inner Cody.
Okay.
That was him saving the making fun of John Pulskamp for saving the ball.
yes.
Well, I put my hand up right here. Yeah, if you ask Cody this, his least favorite player of all time is a tie between Willie Agata and every goalkeeper ever.
Pretty much, yeah.
So predictable.
We'll have to ask him that next week.
What a
Thad?
callback with Luis Martin or Marin.
Luis Marine. Luis
Yeah.
Marine is the reason we have Tim Melia as a legend.
Yeah,
Because
so then you should like him.
I didn't enjoy watching him play.
He didn't play that much. Remember, he only had a few games before he left. Went back
I
home.
mean, he was the
I
nailed on
remember
starter.
I remember that New York City FC game. Ooh, that was bad.
He played 8 games and then left.
Yeah, that's not a lot of games.
No, it's not.
That's more than who was the midfielder that didn't work very hard in one match and he was gone like days later.
Oh, the Argentinian guy.
Yeah.
He got subbed in and then subbed out.
Yeah.
Oh, what was his name? That was just a couple years ago.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Robert, who's your favorite player of all time?
Favorite sporting player of all time.
He's going to say Carrie Zabagnan.
No.
He likes
I
his
love
eyes.
Carrie. I love Carrie. I've known
See?
Carrie for a long time. I know Carrie's family. So I'm going to say Davy Arnaud. He's just a fabulous guy and good, hardworking player. Made himself a professional soccer player and a successful one and made it to the national team even. That's my pick.
Thad?
That is tough because I would actually potentially say Carrie Zabagnan because he was really, really good midfielder, smart, rarely made a mental mistake. I'm not saying like a pass didn't maybe go quite right, but he rarely ever made a mental mistake when he was playing. And he is just a super nice guy. He's actually the only jersey of a player that I've went and potentially bought and then got autographed.
Robbie?
I grew up in my first games were the 2012, kind of skipped 2013, and then 2014 and on. So I gotta say Matt Beazer. I have a photo, I think I've mentioned this before, that there's a photo of me and Matt Beazer, and my mom set it up on Thanksgiving, like when she was just like putting all like the family photos together. And so it's like my sister and her husband and kids, my other sister and her husband and kids, a family photo, and then there's me and Matt Beazer in the lineup.
Nice.
How about you, David?
Are we excluding Benny? Because that's like, I mean, very obviously my answer.
No, you don't have to exclude Benny,
I mean-
but you do have to like suck up for a second when you say it. So
I do love Benny. He's the best. On a personal level, and I also really loved watching him play, Ilie. Got to know Ilie really well when he was here. He was supposed to come to my wedding, but like we won our last game, and so we went to Portland. So like the next day he messaged me and was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry, but I no longer need my steak. I'll be on a jet flying to Portland." But if if the first leg of the playoff game had been at home, he was going to come to my wedding. He recorded a very nice video for me. I really loved Ilya. He's a nice guy.
yeah.
I really loved Johnny. Obviously, the way he played, all of that, but he was a lot of fun in the locker room too. And he was always like really nice to chat with. He was funny. And I'm bummed that he didn't get like more honors when he was here. Like that we didn't win more. He captained some really bad teams.
Because the way you answered that question almost makes me think there's like three categories here. My favorite player on the field, favorite player as just like a human being outside of there, because Ilya would be in that realm, but also Kai Kamara would. Kai, before he went back to England, stopped at the arena, the indoor soccer arena, to say goodbye to my wife and daughter. So like we snuck him in the side door and he came in and gave him a hug and all the stuff, and like that's pretty amazing to a little kid at the time. But also a locker room person, Jimmy Nielsen. That's if in that category, because he would always tell you the truth. Well, we were good, we sucked, but Benny Philhaber would be right there too in that case, because he was always great to talk to. But so it's just it's like different perspectives. That's why I hate to answer the same questions I ask other people.
Well, like one of the it's like a weird humble brag. One of the downsides to getting into the locker room and getting to meet some of these people, right, is that you're then criticizing people that you now kind of know a little bit.
Yep.
And I think even Kyrie Shelton would tell you that Kyrie's performance on the field over the last few years has not been what he would want. But Kyrie's a really, really nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's a really good person.
Great human being.
And so then, like I understand why people are very critical. He makes a lot of money, and he does not. When he was a forward, he was not scoring goals. But it's really tough to see that criticism because he's a really nice guy.
Yeah. And sometimes players are put in positions that they weren't meant to play, and now are getting criticized for playing the position that they weren't meant to play. So there's a lot of factors into that. All right, we've really gotten off track of the last game, next game, current. We've talked about the media game. Is there anything else out there we really actually need to talk about besides rambling and me not having any actual natural breaks to put ads into?
Well, Carrie alluded to it earlier, guys. The playoffs are within reach, and we keep up this pace of winning 3 out of 5. It can happen.
Actually, if they win about 2 out of 5, they could happen.
Yeah.
It would take longer to get there. I don't, and again, I think this is far too early to tell. Is the team turned around now by Carrie, for Carrie, and or Zavagnin? Because it could be turned around for the other Carrie. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's just the excitement part about how the next few games go. Is have they turned around? And we don't know.
So you're saying this road stretch is not going to define the season, but it could.
I don't think it defines it, but I think you can just, again, like the loss in Cincinnati, they played really well in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They lost. They won in Kansas City and played really badly, and they got 3 points. So I never really want to define anything based upon how just a game goes or to a couple games, but over the next few games, we get to see what this team is really made of, and if it's worth adding players in the summer window, or I mean, it's probably going to always be worth adding players in the summer window, but just to see how they go.
Yeah, I mean, the real question is, in terms of adding players, is, generally speaking, you either have an organizational philosophy and you hire a coach that meets the organizational philosophy, right? Like, we want to play a certain type of attacking football and this and that and the other. And you hire the coach that adapts to the roster, or you mold the roster around the coach. And I mean, bringing in players, if you don't have a good idea, a good sense of who you're bringing in to manage the team, is always a gamble.
It sounds like David is dismissing Carrie Zavagnin.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because this whole season is a job interview for him, right? Like, he is the leading candidate because he's already there.
Yeah. And he gets to show what he can do.
Right. Absolutely.
But he also can show if he doesn't. So that's
absolutely. But the thing, right? So my point is, you bring in a player for Carrie and then he doesn't get the job done. Then you're not only firing Carrie, but you've potentially brought in a player who doesn't meet the system of the next manager. If the organization's choosing that there's a specific philosophy and will tailor their managerial approach to not necessarily who's like the best available, but who fits the organization, who fits the ethos, then that's a little different.
So here's another way to look at things. We're at 11 games right now. At the end of this 6-game stretch, in which there is one home game, we will be at the halfway point of the season at the end of May.
I think we are about done. Any last words?
Cody Bradley for the Puskas Award.
Carrie?
Sporting.
Robert?
Woo.
Sipping back an empty can. I don't give a damn if it's 9 a.m. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer, whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. Just been sent off. Some pointers strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.